It's time once again to talk about basketball. Neil Patrick Stevens, what is your all-time favorite Celtics season?
Oh, well, I mean, that's pretty easy. I mean,
Anything is possible.
Yeah, I mean, I was too young to enjoy the Celtics run in the 80s, despite my Larry Bird t-shirt. When I was, I would watch basketball as a kid, but Larry Bird would always be he'd be laid down on the side of the court on his back. That's how I remember Larry Bird, because he was kind of older then.
Yeah.
So it was a rough time, those post Larry Bird years.
Yeah.
So 2007. That was
those
one of the
few seasons that they didn't win championships. Boy. Anyway, but
the whole 90s, the whole decade.
Yeah, that was a good decade. Now, let's talk about you a little bit right now. Michael's a little bit more interested in that.
I'm cool talking. We got the playoffs coming up, man. So I just want to go on the record
right now.
I don't think our fans are interested in hearing about basketball.
I'm going to go on the record. You heard it here first. Celtics, if we get Robert Williams, Time Lord, back, we're going to win it all. All right. I'm on the record. Go ahead. I got nothing to talk about other than that. I'm locked in the playoffs, but go ahead.
Well, you are a writer, producer, director. You've worn a lot of hats. You're a filmmaker. You have had to direct kids in the past. Can you tell us some of the pitfalls and or joys and or things to, plan for when directing kids?
Sure. I would say, there's a lot of I can't work with kids. I can't work with like you can, and it can totally work. I mean, we've seen this show. We've seen there was a fantastic kid actor, and I've worked with kids who've been great. So
WTF Stranger Things.
Yeah, I mean, kids, and if you find talented kids, they can really make your movie. It's like finding a talented cat or a dog. I would say more so a cat. If you can find an amazing cat,
especially one that talks.
If the cat can do anything besides just run out of frame, it can do any kind of acting. It just immediately, I'm amazed when I see a cat do anything in a movie. I'm like, oh my god, this is real life. This is real life. It's almost like the cat doesn't even see that there's a set going on. So it's the same with kids and cats. They add so much if you can find good ones. I think one thing you got to look out for is kids who it's not, acting is almost like it's a natural thing, and it's almost like kids can get out of their they can get in their heads with training, and say a kid's got a lot of acting training that can make their performances feel more staged, because all actors, I mean, you start taking classes and then you're kind of faking it, and it can feel fake, and it takes a long time to get it to the point where
Ryan,
it feels real. But when you're a kid, it's real, and some kids just naturally they just have it. Like the kid who worked on our movie, The Monster.
Face Your Fears.
There's no kids in.
Oh, you're right. The Monster. Sorry. That's the other one
that I know of. Yeah. He some kids just they just naturally have that understanding, and I would say really cast a large net and wait till you find one that really
be patient,
really brings that. Yeah, don't just settle for the first one or whatever. And you're probably gonna have to be patient, because a lot of some kids are further along than others, and you might have to audition a lot of kids, but hey, it works out in the end if you can find the right one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry, it was The Monster. When he auditioned, it was a pretty clear choice, right? You're pretty sold on okay, cool. We got the hardest part taken care of. We can actually make this film.
Yeah, I think I turned to you and I was like, like that's the kid. Like that's and that was like the hardest part is finding, you know, because picking the wrong kid could torpedo your whole project. So you got to really find the right one. And then he was also like, I don't know if he was kind of like showing off a little bit. But he's like, oh yeah, I didn't prepare. I just got the sides 5 minutes ago. And he still sits there. So it's kind of like, I was like, all right, is he showing off a little bit?
Didn't he say something like, I could cry if you want, or something like that? He was like, how do you want me to do it? You want me to do it again with crying? We're like, calm down, kid. You already got it. Okay.
I've all the things I've written for like features and stuff have kids, so I haven't shied away from,
except for Face Your Fears, the one I mentioned.
basically. Well, yeah, I mean, like my bigger projects I'm trying to get going, like which is even more pressure if you got a feature and you got kids. That's kind of scary, but I'm confident, you can find the right one. You just got to be patient till you feel that they got it.
I
Cool.
think shooting with kids too, they can only shoot like so many hours of a day or something like that. Isn't there some kind of restriction?
All kinds of rules with that.
Yeah, it's that's tough. That's why I like the Olsen twins. They, they could double up their hours by switching them out when one would finish, the other.
Or if one of them's fussy, you just use the other one. That's what they do with cats. Like there are two grudge cats in Star Trek Discovery. Everybody knows, right? They're two grudge cats. And so you just switch them in and out. But very informative. Everybody at home, you can click on Neil's goodies in the description box below, and you can ask him questions and advice on how to direct kids, how to pick the right one, how to write them out of your script if you're like, boy, I can't find a good kid actor. All that kind of stuff.
We make this kid a cat and still tell the story we want to tell, or vice versa.
Even better.